Hey guys, if we reach 1,000 likes, we'll be giving out 2 of our new shirts. All you gotta do is click like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. MLP, for all the praise the fans give it, has not been able to avoid the trap that most shows fall into. The battle against the clock. You see, MLP has had some pretty great ideas and concepts. If you can't acknowledge that, then I think you're simply looking for something to hate. However, these concepts are often rushed and gutted to the point that they are no longer even close to being as impactful or as meaningful as they could have been. Nowhere does MLP fall shorter in this area than with its character development. There are only a few key characters who are villains, all of which had potential for serious backstories, and all of which were forced or rushed. Tyrek was betrayed by his brother. Okay, where is his brother? What is the relationship they have now? What does Tyrek actually feel about that? Is it revenge he seeks on them? Or is it on his brother? None of which are answered. We could have had a bunch of storylines that were about him dealing with the hurt that was actually caused to him by his brother. Why is he as evil as he is? Nightmare Moon attempted genocide. Discord tried to rule the world of chaos. But it seems Tyrek doesn't get the chance to be redeemed. Chrysalis is queen of the changelings. They need love to live, and yet why couldn't there be any mutually beneficial agreement set up for the changelings to live in peace? Sure, they used the elements of harmony in the finale, but that was changing the very core concepts of who they were. Why is it that them, as they were, couldn't have coexisted with other creatures? Again, something that is never tackled. And this could have been a great way to educate people on racism or prejudice, but they just dropped the ball. And most recently, Starlight Glimmer's motivation for destroying the world and enslaving others is her friend moved away after saving her life. Okay, that's... wow. I think there's some serious psychological issues there that friendship probably isn't just going to solve by itself. And while that seems bad, it is nothing compared to what happens during the Crystal Empire episode. When Twilight is first sent there, the large amount of missed opportunities to delve deep is astonishing. And this might just be MLP's biggest mistake. The episode starts off with a bit of tension between the Regal sisters, a relationship that has already been neglected and unaddressed largely throughout the series. Luna wishes to go on this mission and is remiss to allow Twilight to go in her stead. But why? Is it because Luna has a personal connection with the events of the Crystal Empire prior? Is it because she simply feels she hasn't been doing much and wants to pull her weight? Well, we actually will never figure it out, as they never addressed it. But Luna is only the first stone that was left unturned, and sadly the smallest issue of all. Largely, the real issue is the dynamic between Sombra and Twilight. Twilight, the element of magic, isn't tempted into the dark side, but goes willingly herself to achieve her goals. And she does so with great affinity of the dark arts. This raises a few questions. Why was Twilight so good at dark magic? Why was she able to almost instantly be able to control and manipulate the evil forces? Yes, she is the element of magic, but does her special talent give her an affinity with magic which is in direct contradiction of her harmony element? Was her heart always just one step away from being dark? Or is it that Twilight was always dark? She doesn't see it as being dark, but she will do whatever it takes to appease her teacher. To not fail. We've seen her take things too far. Is Twilight such a dark character that she would delve into the dark arts simply to achieve a task that her teacher gave her? I pointed out many times in my videos why Twilight's actions are actually harmful to those around her. But surely the elements of harmony wouldn't be able to be used by those with darkness in their heart, right? Well, for that, you only have to look back to Luna. Luna once wielded the elements as easily as Celestia, yet she turned from the path of good and had a growing darkness in her heart whilst using the elements. This world works on destiny. Everything is predetermined. So, the world and universe already knew the eventual fate of Luna, and yet she still wielded the elements. And that was before she was redeemed. And is she even really redeemed? Another thing that is never addressed. Yes, she went to prison for 1,000 years essentially, but what is 1,000 years to beings who are immortal? And 1,000 years, how much life was lost in the battle between these two? How much damage was caused? I hate to use this as an example, but let's say humans could live infinitely. Would 1,000 years, let's say, be adequate for some of our most ruthless people in the world? Castro? Kim Jong-un? Stalin? Hitler? What is 1,000 years out of infinity? I don't know. None of these questions that I'm asking you are even hinted at. I can make all kinds of leaps in logic from here, but the show never goes into deep enough detail with this for me to ever actually have solid proof for anything. There are important concepts that the show brings up and then just abandons. The concept of dark magic itself is almost never touched again, and the glowing green eyes and horns are never seen with another villain. And speaking of villains, Sombra was the only one we've seen who uses it. He's a poorly fleshed out character lacking all form of coherent backstories. And even some of the instances according to the wiki contradict Luna's banishment. This aside, he could have been used as Vader to Twilight's Luke, tempting her with the power of the dark side, allowing himself to be stricken down but leaving a successor in his place who's more powerful. I do realize the comics do touch upon this, but besides not being canon, they severely dropped the ball as well, losing all kinds of emotional impact by subverting any kinds of consequence. I won't spoil too much, but just know it was pretty lackluster. A lot of people weren't too happy with it. MLP has a habit of simply introducing concepts and dropping them. This is nothing new. From Flutterbat to the letters to the Everfree Castle, MLP simply has problems with commitment. Yes, they have only so long to do a subject, but that only works until you realize shows like Steven Universe are able to convey their message in a more impactful way with half the time slot. So truly, does MLP have an excuse? I know it seems like I'm ragging on the show, and I know I get a lot of comments of people saying that I must hate the show. And alas, even show writers, be they thin-skinned or not, sometimes get offended. And honestly, I can only leave them with this. I only criticize because I love it. I only do videos on subjects that I enjoy. If I did not care about your show, I would say nothing. No amount of profit or money would actually get me to move my tongue. But this is just my opinion. My comment section is open. Feel free to voice yours. I actively respond to a lot of comments. As always guys, it's been Faith or Moliminous, and I hope you enjoyed. Hey there guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in getting some merch, visit our TeePublic store. And if you really love us, be sure to check out our Patreon where you can get some awesome perks for supporting the channel.